Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. If not for the name ghosted and silk-screened onto the underside of the crystal, I think it would be fair to say most watching this video would have no idea what brand or model they're looking at right now. And in fact, you may not know which model. This is an Hublot Spirit of Big Bang Sang Bleu. So Sang Bleu is a lifestyle brand created by Swiss tattoo artist Maxime Bouki, and the first collaboration in 2016 was more recognizable as a core Hublot product since it was based on the Big Bang. But the Spirit of Big Bang, the tonneau-shaped RM-like watch, is launched in 2014, are less commonly seen. And this Spirit of Big Bang Sang Bleu, a 200-piece black ceramic limited edition, takes that basic tonneau case and, if anything, makes it more original and uniquely Hublot, whereas the original Spirit of Big Bang is very much angling for the RM customer at a lower price. This is unrecognizable as either a previous Hublot product or anything RM is making right now. So it stands on its own two lugs. So let's take a look. At 42 millimeters in diameter, it doesn't wear like any conventional round watch. It is 15.9 millimeters thick, and then from lug tip to lug tip, 56.6 millimeters. This was a 2023 special edition, and I think it's worth mentioning that the whole story arc of the Spirit of Big Bang, starting in 2014 and running all the way to the present, is built around very solid running gear. This is actually, believe it or not, and you wouldn't recognize it at a glance, a Zenith El Primero with a skeleton dial. Let's see how it actually fits, and that is aided by the unique form of the case. So you can see we have a little bit of a camber on the bottom, so like the core Spirit of Big Bang, it arcs around the wrist. Now, it's a big, stark thing, and actually, when I saw it in the safe today, inside a protective plastic bag, my first thought was Devon Tread 2. So you can see it's got a very unusual aesthetic for an Hublot. The combination of creases and facets and the subtle contrast between satin and polished black ceramic really gives it a dazzling aesthetic, and that comes down to some of the facets on the sapphire crystal as well. But it wears beautifully on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and I think even a slightly smaller wrist could probably wear this, let's say 15 centimeter circumference. It's not overbearing, it's stark, it looks absolutely monstrous, it has a sinister persona about it, but it is very comfortable and being made almost exclusively of sapphire, rubber, plastic, ceramic, titanium. It is made of many light materials. Taking a look at the strap, you can see it's fully integrated, and blink and you'll miss it. There's a push button release for the strap. So if you want to use a different strap, Hublot's got lots of options. It pops out just like that, and the little triangular trigger is inset within the lugs between the two Hublot H-pattern screws. And you can see that this is a model-specific strap, and I particularly like the many tightly spaced perforations to make it more adjustable when it's on the wrist. And it's very easy to reassemble. It works just like a car seatbelt buckle. And you will note that the strap is also model specific on the top, where the contours match the taper of the bezel in the case. We've got a buckle cap, which is in black ceramic, comparably scratch resistant, and that is, again, model-specific, twin-trigger release, so it can't pop open inadvertently. The chassis of this blackened titanium swing arm mechanism has a little Hublot H in it. There's two prongs right there. You stick the strap in, you buckle it down, and once it's in place, you can close all this, and the excess length is hidden underneath the strap, so it's a very clean system. It doesn't need a strap minder. You can see the combination of Hublot and Sang Bleu, the unique faceting and geometries that define Maxime Bouki's aesthetic. The watch is fascinating in detail, too. As you can see, it might have more individual facets than the abundantly faceted Bulgari Octo Finissimo series. And I do love the contrast between satin and polish, but I also love the scratch resistance of ceramic. If, like me, you're just about fed up with intricately finished high luxury watches that are easily disfigured the second you put them on, this might be a little bit of a relief from that kind of oppressive stress that comes with wearing something so delicate and vulnerable. This is pretty much short of crashing into a hard surface like a brick wall, is pretty much impervious to marks. Now we've got a unique crown right here with a rubber shoulder, and then we have the combination of Hublot and Bleu. We have rubber shouldered pushers for the chronograph. It is a screw down crown. The watch is 100 meters water resistant. I realize there will be questions about whether and to what extent this watch is luminescent, and we'll just let the camera tell the tale. Yep, you're looking right at it right now. This isn't even the black version of Superluminova. There is nothing to see here. Okay, getting a little bit closer now. It's not immediately apparent how you read this watch, so let's demonstrate. Okay. You see, we have this gray side of the diamond-like center structure. So that gray side defines the minute indicator. Then underneath, we have the hour hand, which is a slower moving gray triangular index. Now you can see all of this has a lovely brushed finish, with the exception of the center, which features polishing and faceting. So they really went all the way with this, and that extends down to the index for the chronograph seconds hand, as well as the running seconds and the chronograph minutes displays. There is in fact a date on this dial, and there's a quick set for the date, but it's hiding down in the corner between 4 and 5. And if you look carefully, you can see the bones of the dial side of Zenith El Primero caliber 400 here, doing business as Hublot caliber HUB 4700. Rest assured, it's the same thing. Crisp column wheel action with a lateral clutch, automatic winding, 5 hertz beat rate, 10 beats per second, 31 joules. And you can't see too much of the El Primero from the backside, but if you could see, you would notice that it uses the latest silicon escapement for lower friction, lower total oscillating mass, and reduced maintenance needs. And then we've got this rather convoluted and deeply layered Buki-inspired rotor. You can see the masses on one side. Limited edition, individually numbered, Spirit of Big Bang. It is ceramic. And again, a 50 to 52 hour automatic winding power reserve with the 36,000 vibration per hour beat rate that has long made the El Primero famous. And of course, we have a slightly smoother sweep to the chrono seconds hand because of that El Primero and its high beat rate. Also worth mentioning, the watch doesn't set conventionally because it's an El Primero. When you pull the crown out all the way, that is actually where you set the date. And then the intermediate position, which is the one just outboard of winding, that's actually where you set the time, but that's germane to most pre-3600 caliber El Primeros. A lot of fun, a very distinctive design, and much more of an original effort in the Spirit of Big Bang family than the original RM-inspired shape. This is so different that if your friends can't see the silk-screened name, they may not even know what they're looking at, which makes this a fantastic conversation starter, and possibly the most intricate, detailed, and intriguing, beguiling even, sapphire of the last 5 years on the market. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.